Welcome back to Buzz TV. I'm Howard Walpuff, your host, and today there's so many different ways to find your sports information, the way you want it, the way you need it. We have with us today Kelly Hawkins from the Daily Rally, another great way to find sports on a daily basis. Kelly, welcome to the Buzz.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, our pleasure. Tell me, how did the Daily Rally start?
So when I was in college, I reported on all sports at the University of Florida, go Gators, and I found that a lot of my friends, they were spending all day getting ready to go to football games, basketball games, but they weren't watching traditional sports media. They weren't watching SportsCenter or reading the really in-depth, stats-driven news online, and I would kind of give them a little rundown before the game so they knew what to expect and could enjoy it a little bit more. And so I figured that's something I should start writing down. And when I got to the PGA Tour after college, I found that sports leagues were really struggling to reach women as well. So I started the Daily Rally as a daily email newsletter. You can read it in under 5 minutes. Hopefully it'll give you a laugh. It's informative, but it's not too in-depth and too intense. So I started sending that out to my friends, and then from there, a lot more people than I ever could have imagined would resonate with it started reading it. And from there, we've grown it into 2 different podcasts and video content, and just trying to get some more team-specific content going too.
That's very exciting and lots of information to pack into an email.
Yes.
Tell me about your schedule. How does your day start to gather all that information?
Right. So I have a system I use where I have basically a feed that comes together where I get all the big sports stories coming in all day long. And so throughout the day, I can curate, as I call it, and throw things into my doc and start working on them and figure out which stories are really going to be the most important so that you can know what to read to start your day. Because really, I want to keep it focused on what are people talking about, what's the conversation going to be at work the next day or at happy hour or whatever, and I want to get you the information and make it entertaining for you so that you feel like you're in the know.
So are there specific stories that have resonated stronger with your readers than most?
Anytime there's an animal in any sports story, I can guarantee you that that's going to get a reaction out of people. I do put in, at the beginning and end, I screenshot and link to different viral Twitter posts or Instagram posts or videos to kind of help with the entertainment value of it and start things off with a laugh. And from there we get into the game action and some more of the off the field stories too.
So this is something that they get in the morning in the email, get themselves started and get full of sports. Do they get to interact with you in any way?
Oh yeah, on all social media. I also started doing some live Instagram videos, which that's all amazing. It didn't exist, a couple years ago that just anyone can go live from their phone. That makes it really easy to interact with people and get feedback and see what my viewers and readers are wanting to hear from me.
So tell me more about the podcast. I know you have 2 different size podcasts that you do. How long are they? How often are people getting them? Where are you getting the content and the people you're having the conversations with?
Sure. So I started the podcast first as a long-form interview style podcast where I would start it off by just kind of talking about what was happening that week in sports, and it's weekly, and then have a guest on from the sports industry. So I've had Laura Rutledge from ESPN on. I've had I had Casey Smith from Barstool Sports the other day. So I've been able to get some pretty incredible guests who can share their stories about how they got to where they are. But really the heart of the Daily Rally is getting people information quickly. So I thought, why don't I put this in a daily podcast form you can listen to in 10 minutes. We literally launched that at the start of football season. So it's very new. But each day you can basically get what you read in the email newsletter. You can just listen to it on the way to work or wherever you are.
It does make things a lot easier.
Yeah, I just want to get the information to you in the easiest way possible for different people because not everyone wants to read it, not everyone wants to listen to the podcast, so I just want to make sure I'm getting everything you need to know to you in the most convenient way.
Well, what is the best way for people to get that convenience? How can they find you? How can they find get onto the email list? Yes. How can they get this information from you?
So thedailyrally.com, right when you get there, you can throw your email address in there and you'll start getting the newsletter immediately. The podcast is both on iTunes and on SoundCloud, and then you can follow us at The Daily Rally on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the places.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing all the sports news to everybody. Yeah. I'm always gathering as much sports information as possible. It's great to have one resource in the morning to get all that. Check her out. Check everything out on a daily basis, dailyrally.com. And thank you for joining us today on Buzz TV.